Hello everybody, how are we? Probably not very good. After that, it's the post-match Pint, brought to you by the Mad Squirrel. In the Mad Squirrel, we're back from Kenilworth Road. It's finished Luton Town 3, Watford. Neil, my name is Jacob Culshaw. I'm delighted to be joined by Charlie Zazzera. Charlie, we spent the day with each other. That's the first smile I've seen all day.
It's an ironic smile, Jacob. Yeah, let's get this therapy session out of the way, have a few drinks, and I'm sure Arsenal will feel a bit better.
The only plus point is we are doing it sooner than wait until Sunday night to do it. And we're delighted to be joined as well by Drury. Adam, you've been on the channel before, obviously. In easier circumstances is probably the way to say.
Very good circumstances when I'm on here. I don't think I've had a win yet.
I think Leeds was the first one, and we got them on Tuesday.
And then Coventry, I think it was this year.
A lot to break down. If you do go on to enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe to WD18, comment down below your thoughts on the Watford performance today. It was a sobering defeat at Kenilworth Road for the Hornets. As I say, Luton 3, Watford 0. Adam, I'm going to cross to you first actually. Where do we start with that? Because that's what I'm going to... It's not even a performance, that as a whole.
I don't know, I feel like... my initial impression at the full-time whistle when the players and manager come over and start giving it the hands and the applause, and I kind of think, I get that, I get why they feel they need to do that, but there were some quite strong words coming into the game about how this time it's different and this time we're up for it and we're a team that's ready to fight compared to 2 years ago. And that game looked so much like the game 2 years ago to me, and the way it played out just... we know Luton are very good at that. So physically, they have... their centre-forwards are massive and they look bigger than our centre-halves. But it was a physical bombardment where we never got near them. Every second ball, every header, every shoulder-to-shoulder, every duel, they seemed to come away with the ball. And we can talk about how we got outnumbered in midfield, or centre-forward got isolated and our centre-forwards didn't have a great day. But the story of the game is how they absolutely battered us physically, I think.
Spot on. Luton bullied Watford today. I think it's as simple as that. They were more aggressive, they were more direct. Probably too far to say they wanted it more, Charlie, but they won more duels. I think we saw a stat coming into this where they won. Watford only won 23% of aerial duels. So that's headers, that's second balls. Watford weren't at the races at all. Anything to add to that, really?
No, it's a good point, and yeah, we did get bullied again by them, and I think they are a team that is suited to, especially Carlton Morris coming into the team. He's a huge player for them, and they've missed him, and he bullied our centre-halves, unfortunately, and I actually thought we did defend well in terms of we did have to deal with a lot of crosses, a lot of corners. But although we didn't win the physical battle, what I wanted us to do is win the kind of mental battle and play our stuff better and make better decisions, because tactically, if you look at it, they had a very high press, which I thought was pretty good, and we tried to play out like centrally, but the problem was like they just suffocated us every single time, and we didn't have not a plan B, but we weren't smart enough or brave enough to get on the ball. Tom Delly was doing it and he was trying it. I know I spoke to you, I wanted to see a bit more from Sissoko doing the same. He's a big boy. Can he be braver on the ball and take from midfield? Or should it be tactically, should we have got a bit longer? Should we have had someone with Bayo or Jefferson like a bar? So I think tactically we got it wrong, physically we got it wrong, mentally got it wrong. 3-0 Luton, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam, it's easy when you have a result like that. You're hurting as fans. I think everyone inside the club, outside the club will be hurting really from a Watford point of view. But who is to blame for that today? Because that will be the question on Watford fans' lips. The players, manager, who do you put it down to?
Yeah, big question.
Sorry, I know. Honestly, I've always just gone straight in. Normally I'm a little bit more sort of, how have you been? How's life? But no, we're straight in today.
There are so many different elements of it, because we never played our game the way we wanted to play it. So, as Charlie said, we were clearly looking to play out, almost bait the press, get the ball into Shaq Fatadze, who runs into space. And that did happen a couple of times where he got away, and there was one ball through to Bayo in the first half where I think he nearly got a shot off and got tackled.
Went to cut back inside, didn't he, where he could have got a shot off. Charlie next to me was punching the seat in front of him.
It felt like he could have just got a left foot shot off, right?
Would be the sensible thing, obviously, but...
It is a tough question to answer, because it feels like a collective effort where that's what we've tried to do. That's not worked, and then they've penned us in, and then they were winning the ball back from us trying to play out. I think we probably could have been... maybe it was bravery in trying to play that way, and maybe being sucked into trying to cope with them physically rather than just play the football we were trying to play. But we could never get out, and then from there they gave us a battering because that's what they do. And so we can talk about, could we have played another body in midfield? Would that have helped us play through? I've seen a few suggestions of that online. Ultimately, this feels like where Watford have been too often over the last few years, and it's hard to point at individuals today when, if you talk about Watford over the last 5 years, that's what we see on quite a regular basis. And I think it shows overall we've still got so much work to do as a club. And I think Tom Cleverley said that afterwards, maybe he's misjudged how far we've come this season. And I think now, after today, we look back at the last month or so, performances consistently haven't really been there. We've had good spells in games. We could easily have been beaten by Middlesbrough 2 weeks ago, easily, and it looks very different. We could have easily not beaten Sunderland, and maybe it's a bit of a wake-up call for Cleverley in terms of how good we are and where we're really at this season. And I think that might be the biggest takeaway from this, like a bit of a reality check as to where we're at.
Charlie, did you feel it was a reality check? As Adam said, Cleverley's mentioned that he probably thought we were a bit more further down the line than we actually are after today's result. I think we'll get into the key moments and tactically what we maybe lacked. Well, not maybe, what we did lack on the pitch. But did you feel like that was a sort of wake-up, smell the coffee moment for this Watford team?
Yeah, but we had a similar one at Preston, and we bounced back and beat Middlesbrough, who we think might go up. We beat Sunderland. So stuff. The problem is that it's not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. But Cleverley has got high standards. How many times has he said he wants to go over the top 6? We had the hype video going into this one saying, I want to make sure that we are going to be top 6 contenders.
We had the taken in the sights video. I mean, we had all the noise, all the right noises. Just since it got to the pitch, it all lacked.
Yeah, so like it's hard really, because I back Cleverley. I think you've got to be ambitious. It's great, but I just think we're not there yet. This is the first year. If you look at the squad of players, we've said it before. People are tipping us to go down. We're just not there yet. Like, we've seen loads of really, really good stuff so far this season. That's why I thought the reaction at the end was pretty brutal and maybe a bit over the top. Obviously in a derby here at the moment, but...
Did you understand where they were coming from with that reaction?
Yeah, for the performance, but there were certain individuals that came over I thought maybe didn't deserve it. Maybe some other individuals might have deserved it a bit more, but I don't think we gave up today. We've seen many a performance where we weren't putting it, we just got everything wrong.
You should remember with that, like, a maximum of one team can win this game, and unfortunately they were better than us today. You can't always win, and this is a reminder, as we're sort of saying, that we are going to lose games this season fairly often, and the standards have been set higher inside the club than outside. That was the feeling over the summer, and it's been the feeling so far this season. So it's too easy, I think, to turn to the, they didn't want it chat, because I actually think that would have been the reaction at the end. However, today had gone. When you lose, that's the reaction in a derby game. That's what they get. That's what happens. So yeah, I agree. That felt harsh, but definitely elements of our game which aren't where I think maybe inside the club they thought they were.
So this was the Watford team that Tom Cleverley put out at Kenilworth Road. Batman in goal, who came back in a back three of Pollock, Ogbonna, Porteous, Andrews at right wing back, Ken Semmer at left wing back, Sissoko and Dele Bashir as the midfield two, with Bayo, Chatfordazzi and Kiembe as the three. Now, I wanted to go back to what you said, Adam, about playing an extra body in midfield, because I felt that we played into Luton's hands today. We got a little bit of joy when we sucked Luton in and we played them on the break. Well, I say sucked them in, when they pressed the time, we beat the press and we managed to have a couple of counter-attacks with that Bayo one you mentioned. Chatfordazzi also got in some half-decent areas. But overall, we lost that midfield battle. So does Cleverley have to look at the system and the formation that we're playing right now and go, it's not working particularly away from home? Because there seems to be a pattern emerging, especially at the start of games, but also away from home, where we are struggling to get a grip and a control of the game, particularly in a game like the one today.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit different to Preston, where I don't think we did struggle to... I think if we played better, we could have controlled the game. I don't think we were outplayed at Preston, we just didn't play well. I thought, so against Middlesbrough, he brought Ince more into a midfield three, and Chatfordazzi played off Jebuson's side that game, didn't he? I think that could be an option when we're losing that battle, particularly away from home, because I think Chatfordazzi plays that role so well, and it actually allows him to drift across the pitch into pockets wherever he finds them. And I think the other 10, Kiembe's been most of the time this season, isn't giving us loads in that position. We know he scores goals, like when he gets on his left foot 20 yards out, that's a nice scenario for him to be in. But I don't think he's giving us loads more. And I thought Ince would play, and I thought he'd pick the same midfield with Shakfatadze in front today. So, yeah, that could be one to look at, and it might have helped today when we were trying to play. But ultimately, and we've said it, when you're losing Jules and they're first for everything and nicking the ball off you, it looks like you're outnumbered, and it would look like you're outnumbered whatever you're trying to do tactically. Yeah,
absolutely. I think the biggest word for me today, Charlie, is I felt that Watford were naive from start to finish. And I go from, don't want to talk about the content in the week, but you talk about the lineup particularly. I said it on the show, and this is not me, you can check the tapes. I would have started Jonathan Bonds in goal for Batman. I thought it was a huge call from Cleverley to bring him back in. I get why he did it, but I didn't think it was the decision that had to be made. I also look at Kiembe. I would have played Tom Ince personally because I felt that he was someone who could give us more control into the game. But overall, Charlie, it felt like we went to Kenilworth Road and tried to outplay Luton and played into their hands, really, at a moment where, you guys mentioned it, Rob Edwards is under pressure. We said it in the preview that Luton are under pressure. Even at 2-0, you could feel the nerves. If we'd got one back, it could have, it would have been a different game or not, but there was a sense in that ground that they just needed a result, and somehow we played into their hands. Decision-making also poor. Is naive harsh?
It's hard because when you've got a style of play, which I think we've seen for the first time in ages, which Tom Cleverley wants to do with the wing-backs, you can't abandon it and like flip-flop between who you want to play. I just put today down to the application, and even a sign which really, like, not that I was impressed with, but even when they were 3-0 up, they were pressing, they were harrying, they were putting our defenders, and I just think we couldn't match their physicality and their aggression, which is a real shame because I think the context of the game, in fact, we're towards the top of the table, they're towards the bottom, and in recent results, we spoke to Lewis on the channel in the week. He was petrified, like he was saying, "I'll take a point," and how bad they've been. Like,
and we made it easy.
We made them look like they were top of the league, like, which is embarrassing. How many players they got injured? I know Menji's been out, so the fact that we looked nowhere near it is so disappointing. And I don't know, like,
what would you have done differently, Charlie?
I don't think I'd have changed too much. Maybe personnel like Jefferson instead of Bayo, Eberseli we spoke about, but I don't think it's too much on Cleverley. I'll tell you what I'd have done different. I'd have been more direct because they played such a high line and we just kept constantly trying to play out against their high press. And they were, like I said, they were suffocating us and we just couldn't get out. I'll challenge your editing on this video, but Jordan Analytics done a average positions and they were just camped in our half. They're like two playing back. So, like, go direct, get Bar and make him turn. That's what I'd have done differently.
I mean, look, I totally understand where you're coming from there. I mean, I would say I do feel a lot of this is on Cleverley, and again, you don't want to throw the manager under the bus, Adam, but I did feel the decision-making in terms of the lineup personally I thought was wrong, but that's just me. I also just felt that the way we managed the game was really poor, but that's been the theme of this season. I mean, a moment at the end of the first half, Dan Batman's playing it short into Deli Bashiru with three players around him with a minute to go. That's more on the players, in fairness, but we were trying. I commend the fact that we're trying to play a style of play. I get the fact that we're trying to play a certain way. I think it's great, but I think there's a time and place to do it. And I think for the first 20 minutes, you keep it tight. And I even go back to at half-time, Adam. Sorry to go on it, but the subs he made at 2-0. What we're basically saying is when he made the subs at 2-0, they were the right subs at 1-0, because why would you be making them just because we conceded? It just felt quite reactionary, and the game was crying out for Eberseli, the game was crying out for Bar, who I thought was good when he came on. I just felt the lineup was wrong, the subs are too late, we didn't play the conditions, and overall it was a naive performance with too many poor decisions. What do you think of that?
There is and he's talked about it, a game management element to this where, so we've conceded. Norwich was a particularly bad one, that goal in first half stoppage time where we've just switched off with 30 seconds to go. Straight after half time today, we've had the thing of conceding in the first 5 minutes of games this season. And it feels like I think Dan Bachmann gets a hard time because in general, I think he's fine. But it comes from him where there's a real like today, a real panic, like roll it out, play it out, throw it quick, everything has to be really, really quick. And you can see Ogbonna, who's like Mr. Cool at the back, like, whoa, chill for a minute.
It does put people on edge, you could tell.
It feels like puts supporters on edge. We're stood there like, it almost becomes frenetic. And I think it does come a little bit from Cleverley in the sense that, as we've said, he wants to produce a team that is going out and like dominating games. He talks a lot about let's go and make this statement away from home where we go and beat a team away and impose ourselves on a game. And I think he has to make a choice, and we probably have to make a choice as fans. Do we persevere with that process and probably have, well, we are having quite a lot of pain away this season trying to do it, or does he maybe change things up away to get us into games? And because I mean, Norwich was probably, it did go too far, like where Vata came into the team and we were wide open to try and like dominate this game in some fantasy way. I think we're just nowhere near that yet.
And almost outscore teams. I think that was the aim on that one particularly.
We're Watford and we're going to come here and absolutely batter you. That does seem to kind of be the messaging, and I think maybe that's what we persevere with, but I don't think he can talk about we're here to compete in the top 6 this year and we're going to go toe-to-toe with teams and then try and open up and play the kind of football we are, particularly away. I think Preston was a bit different because I think we didn't play very well, and actually we could have beaten them if we had. But today we played so much trouble so often, and we did at Norwich as well. So it is a process. Hopefully in 2 years we're looking back at this and say, remember when we were in the early days of playing this way? I mean, we've said that under so many different Watford managers. Hopefully in a couple of years this is what we're talking about. Yeah, I know. But 2 weeks at the moment, we are, teams are finding it easy to beat us. That's three goal defeats in a row away, and teams are finding it quite easy to beat us when we go to their grounds. So yeah.
Charlie, let's touch on the goals. 2 set pieces, one on the counter-attack. I mean, as soon as we made the change where we took Deli Bashir off, brought Ince and Vata, you felt there was going to be space. That third goal, Porteous poor. Ogbonna should have done better. Batman rooted, but the 2 set-piece goals is what I wanted to ask you about, because I said to you in the ground, both offensively and defensively at set pieces we've been poor this season, and Luton clearly targets that with the crosses of Doherty, getting the balls in. He's got a lovely delivery on him. Has that been a theme of the season, do you think, with the set pieces? What happened today?
Yeah, I think I haven't seen it back, so I don't want to be too harsh. At the time, it felt we had a couple of pillars in our way, which was a bit of a godsend in the end. But someone got a flick. It looked like it might have gone through Batman, but to be fair, someone got a flick. But I think on both occasions, Andrews, he was on the floor for the first one. The second one, he was back post, kind of isolated against Carlton Morris. It's just an absolute mismatch. But I just don't think we're strong enough. I don't think Batman helps. His demeanour's kind of erratic and not commanding at all. So, yeah, set pieces is an issue. And I thought they just played to their strengths. It felt like they were crossing the ball at every opportunity. Every time they had a corner, we were like, oh, God, again. And I actually thought we did as much as we could defending, but when you're getting wave and wave because we had no control, that's what's going to happen.
I wonder whether, again, so much work is going into almost dominating and avoiding the issue and trying to keep the game in the opponent's half. I mean, we're struggling from crosses like every single week, aren't we? And obviously that's the nature of a wing-back system as well. You've only got one sort of wide defender. Teams are finding it really easy to put good crosses in.
Because Luton targeted that, didn't they? I mean, even away from the set pieces, Doherty, it was basically
he's also a quality player, right? It could have been almost a surprise he didn't get a move this summer, so that was quality delivery from him. Victor Moses was playing right wing back, which kind of passed me. I knew he was there, but during the game forgot that was him. Just a quality pair of wing backs, really. So yeah, they tortured us.
There'll be a match reaction from Sam in Australia coming out tomorrow, so if you fancy watching that. Sam actually probably picked the best place in the world to see that defeat. We're going to talk about where Watford go next from here, because it's Leeds away on Tuesday night. They've just come off the back of a win against Sheffield United on Friday night. And then Blackburn at home comes Saturday at Vicarage Road. Charlie. Now, I saw a couple of tweets, guys, about this being a really crucial week in the season, because it couldn't have gone much worse today, actually. I think even when you said like 10 men, that would have been an excuse for the performance. It was so bad. It really, let's be honest, it was terrible. Then you got Leeds, and then you got Blackburn. Is it too early to say a season-defining week, or too early to say a defining week in this first part of the season, Charlie?
Yeah, I don't think it's that deep, to be honest. I think Leeds is not a great one to bounce back with this as for. But it's interesting what Adam was saying about how we set up, especially against Middlesbrough, a more dominant team. We've done it against City to a degree. Robbed. No, so it'd be interesting if we go back to that. Kind of the wing backs deeper, the free midfield and Georgian +1. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that against Leeds. Look, Leeds, a lot of people are predicting them to go up, so I don't think we should count too much that we're going to go to Ellen Road and win, because we're looking back to Vidra days in the 5-1, probably last time we won there. But Blackburn seems like a big game now. Our old mate John Eustace at the helm there. They've had a pretty good start to the season, haven't they? I think they've dipped off a bit recently, but look, I think I was chatting to John from the Rookery end before, and we were talking about it, and he was like, one thing that Cleverley wanted to do at the start of the season was sort out the home form. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of our core audience, and they've been served up really bad 2 or 3 years. So look, at home, we're beating teams like Sunderland and Middlesbrough, hook or by crook, and we've seen Stoke was probably a really good performance. So that's a game which we really need to win, and I don't think kind of Leeds is one to worry about, but Blackburn's important. Not that you want to write off Leeds, but it might be a good one to go back to basics again, set ourselves up, be hard to beat, and then use that as a platform, and then hopefully positive performance against Blackburn. And I think our running after that is a bit easier. Sheffield Wednesday,
Oxford soon after that, I think.
Friday night. So yeah, we've done well against teams like Sunderland and Middlesbrough. To get wins there, I think is really impressive with the squad that we have. And I just think this is a massive kick back to reality of where we are as a team.
And you could also flip it and say we might look back, and hopefully we do, in 3-4 months to see this is a result that kick-starts the season, or you know, I'm hoping get back out of the grass. No, but it could be the result that we look back on in 3 months and say we went on a great run after this result. But Adam, probably a better question to you would be, if you were Tom Cleverley, what would you do for the next 2 games?
That's so difficult because Leeds.
I'm giving you some hard questions today.
Leeds away is a disaster of a game now, isn't it? In 3 days, not much recovery time. They've had an extra day. I bet it's going through his mind to make changes on Tuesday, freshen it up. Maybe fresh legs in the team can at least bring some energy in that new system, see how it goes, and then almost target Saturday as the bigger game of the week. That might not be in his makeup to think that way, but that kind of would be a way that I'm tempted to go. I think Blackburn's a really big game because Charlie said that, or was it you said, that the home form has been such a focus, Charlie, this season. But it's almost like at the end of last season and in the summer, the away form's been great. We've got to fix the home form. Not great, but better. Got to fix the home form. We don't score enough goals. 2 months into the season, we're scoring goals. Home form's good, but we're conceding too many, and away form's not great. Let's not forget what's going well. And in this kind of pursuit of the away form's got to pick up, that home form has to carry on because that's underpinning everything we do at the moment. So. You know, whatever processes they put in place or whatever for games at home, like we mustn't forget that that's our bread and butter at the moment. So that feels like a big one this week, particularly if, as we expect, Tuesday night doesn't provide much for us.
Yeah, respect to anyone who's going up to Ellen Road in midweek. Just to wrap up, Charlie, I wanted just to touch on what Adam said about the away form. How would you improve it? And it's simple. Obviously, you turn around and say, yeah, get more points on the boards or win games. But how do we approach games better away from home? Because at the minute, there is a massive gap in our performance between the home and the away performances. What needs to change from what you've seen so far this season?
It's a hard one. Do we have to be more savvy? Do we have to, like the Norwich we got completely wrong?
Cleverly mentioned the dark arts, that we didn't do that today.
Yeah, not necessarily like dark arts, just it's tweak how we're playing. So we've got this identity which I think is exciting, and when it plays well it looks really good, but I think we do the same sometimes away, and we did that today against Luton and they kind of counteracted that and completely won the battle. But Norwich, we got it wrong, we were too aggressive. So do we have to be more pragmatic? I'm not too sure. One thing I want to ask Adam as well, number 9.
Because I think we've got we know we want to dominate and play and whatever. We've got players who actually on transition are so dangerous, and I don't feel like we get ourselves in those positions often enough, and actually even in home games. So the winner against Sunderland comes from Bar picking the ball up and breaking and winning the penalty. I'm thinking back to like early in the season when we won at Millwall, like we Shaq Fatadze like breaking over the halfway line into space. How often are we seeing that at home or away? Like I want to see him, in more space, running with the ball. And maybe there is room for how you make this work in practice, I guess, is up to the coaches, but like a more pragmatic approach where actually we look to play on the break and we don't attack in numbers so much. We don't need to play out the way we are, maybe. We've got, sometimes our squad, we're full of pace, full of power up front. I want to see us, running into spaces more, and it almost feels like a team that should suit playing away much better than it looks at the moment with the players we've got. So yeah, maybe a sort of a move towards that. Number 9. Well, what I was going to say about number 9 was I think Jebison would suit that more as well. So we hear about this explosive pace. We're not seeing it at the moment. The ball's coming into his feet. He's being knocked off it. He's clearly not. We're not getting anywhere servicing him in that way. So yeah, we need to see him running channels more, chasing balls. Yeah, hopefully we see more of that away in the next few weeks.
Bar through the middle. I've said it from day one. He's the best option we've got, I think, through the middle.
At Preston, that didn't really work, did it?
Having said that, if he scored that one-on-one early doors, I think the conversation would be completely different.
It's the nuances of playing that position. It's like running across the line, pressing sides. It felt like he didn't quite know where to be and what runs to make in that game. Definitely explosive player. Yeah.
Well, look, we signed Jebison. He was the one we got. Well, we waited for him. Like, he played in the Premier League. Bournemouth bought him. But at the moment, he's coming in fits to start. So I know he's getting a hard time from the fans. And today his touch was so bad. His confidence on the floor. Give him 5 games starting. I don't see what Bayo does to justify a starting position over him. I know Clevery's talked about maybe out of possession work, but I just think give Jebison a proper go at it. And I think if he scores 1, his head will be up, he'll be running the channels, and his touch will be a lot better. He's had some hard situations to come into, I think.
Anything else you want to add, lads, before we wrap up Luton? Is there anything pressing you want to mention, Adam?
Are you looking forward to going back to Kenilworth Road next year?
I've just had Sam Adams and Jack behind the camera as well, giving us a bit. Looking forward to what?
What was your Kenilworth Road experience?
All I'll say is it was a restricted view and probably for the best.
Oh, I saw it, yeah.
Honestly, it was... before the camera, I was like, what a great view. And then afterwards, I was genuinely like, what a great view. Adam, anything else you wanted to mention in terms of what performance?
The bus driving next season could improve. On the way, we went the wrong way, straight out of Vicarage Road, had to do a U-turn and come back to get on the M1. He nearly drove into town back into town instead of taking the turn onto the motorway.
We had a great time, didn't we?
Shocking route back as well. So, yeah, bus driving... one area to improve next season, as well as everything else, basically.
I did quite enjoy the one thing I was saying about the Luton fans, giving it to that on the way out. But there we go. I think that's it. Luton Town 3, Watford 0. We won't be remembering that in a hurry. Thanks so much to Adam, Charlie, and you two for watching today. If you could leave a like on the way out, subscribe to WD18, follow Adam, Charlie, and myself on our social channels, and WD18 at WD18 fans. And we will see you in the next one. Take care and up the Hornets. You want.